the nanny and whatnot. But there's no guidance that is coming from a parent directly. So you find this child becoming so detached to, they don't stay in relationships as they grow. It's normal for them to move from this person to another person with no emotional attachment. You see, it doesn't mean they're cold. It probably are just facing a trauma that they've always had, and to them it's a no. They don't understand anything else as to what they've already seen, right? So how do you know that you have the childhood trauma in you? It can come in different ways, and one of them, or the most common, is people pleasing. You see, you get out of your way to be, you don't utaki watu kukasirikie. Maybe your parents wameshinda kukasirikia, you've been called names. You know, mbona kila siku ni kero, ukiwa mbona kero. So now as you grow, you realize, I don't want this anymore. So you let people trample over you, and you let people push you over because you don't hutaki kuwa kero anymore from the tag that you've been given. So you find yourself very how would I put it? You don't defend yourself in any way. You are a doormat. And as long as there's no chaos, I'm fine in this situation, right? Then the fear of abandonment. You find yourself lagging in relationships that are not healthy. It could be friendship. It could be a relationship with a spouse. Someone treats you negatively, but you don't want them to go because maybe you felt like when mom and dad separated, it was your fault. Ni wewe ulileta hiyo separation. Sasa wewe naye hutaki kuachwa na mtu. So at the end of it all, you stay in an abusive relationship just to overcompensate that, right? And another aspect is what I'd mentioned earlier, emotional numbness. You feel nothing. You are nonchalant. Really well. Okay, fine, you're coming. Okay, fine, you're gone. And this happens mainly with the male people, the male gender. They become emotional numb because they feel like, you'll go. It's fine. You can go, I'll get another one. Or, you feel no attachment to anybody. Also, another thing is anger. Very small things get you very angry in a way that it's not warranted. You move from 0 to 100 real quick because of your response or your treatment as a child. Anxiety, you get people who do not know how to sleep well. They don't know how to sit and you say, oh, so and so has ADHD. It's not true. Nile ambayo labda wazazi ulikuwa ukikaa kidogo na wafanya nini? Hakuna kitu nafanya. So you get a child ako anxious all the time, anataka asonge ndio basi seme ameka ovyo. You get. And then also low self-worth, something I mentioned earlier. You have no self-esteem. If someone just tells you, orange doesn't look good on you, and that's it, you never wear orange again. You stay on validation from other people because your worth, no one actually brought your worth for you to be able to embrace yourself and be confident in who you are. Yes.
Bila shaka na wengi wanajiuliza hivi sasa, tutawalea vipi watoto wetu ili wasiathirike na hii childhood trauma? Kwa sababu mimi kama mzazi, mtoto akikosea na hofia kumpiga kwa sababu sitaki kesho affectiwe na kichapo changu. Nataka arekebike. Sasa wazazi wengi wanajiuliza, tutawalea vipi hawa watoto wetu haswa kizazi cha sasa kisiathirike na sisi kuadhibu bali kirekebike? Ama tutazuia vipi huyu mtoto akiwa mkubwa asiwe na hizi affectiwe na hizi childhood trauma?
Yes, first of all, protecting your child from trauma doesn't mean it's lack of discipline. I'm not one who's on soft parenting. I strongly believe in disciplining a child. But at the same notion as you're disciplining this child, you need to be able to communicate to this child. Unamchapa kwa nini, amefanya makosa gani? Communicate to this child for them to understand that when I do A, I'll get reaction B, right? And when I do C, I'll get reaction D. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're taking away the discipline of a child. All right? It means that you're communicating better for a child to be able to understand that this is what discipline is. This is what I'm facing in terms of being corrected because of my action A, right? I did this, so my mom will react this way. All right. But also at the same time, you as a parent, you also need to heal from your trauma. So ile punishment unampa mtoto hauifanyi excessively, it does not arouse your previous emotions attached to that. Kwa vile saa zingine unaona mtoto amevunja thermos ndio, lakini kipigo umempa ya kuvunja hiyo thermos, it doesn't tally to the action of breaking a thermos. Unampiga kipigo cha umbwa. It's unnecessary, and many a times that will happen because it is something that probably you also face as a mom, as you're growing up as a child. Mzazi wako ulikuwa ukivunja glass ndio basi kiama. So you need to heal from that and understand, I'm disciplining this action and this is how I do it. And not every indisciplined behavior needs a beating. We need to look at other channels of punishment, right? It's not always the cane. I'm not against the cane, but it's not always the cane. Si lazima mchape. Kuna actions zingine ambazo deserve a warning and a talk, okay? And maybe you pull out a privilege. You did this, so I'm not giving you this the whole week. No TV the whole week. No this the whole week. We're not going, I told you we'll take you to this place, I will not take you because of this is what you did. And you communicate with the child. And at the same time is, you also try and pull out an apology, a sincere apology from the child, because an apology sometimes acknowledges that they've understood what they did wrong. Right? So this is, Baba, this is what you've done. Go think about it and you come back. If a child comes back and gives you an apology, they've probably gone through and understood, this is, when I do this, my parents do not like it. And also, you as a parent, if you overreact and you feel like I have overreacted, you need to apologize to the child as well. And it is unheard of. Tukiwa, there's no way a parent would apologize to you. Hata kama ulifanya kitu ukamwambia si wewe akakupiga, later on realize zile pesa nilikuwa nimeka hapa ndio hizi nimepata kwa handbag, they wouldn't come and apologize. But that's what you need to break, right? You break and apologize to your children. Basically, the best way to break on our childhood trauma and the cycle is communication, right? And also, when you listen to the seerah of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and how he related to the children had they had feelings, they had a presence, and it's sad that now we're waiting for psychologists and wazungu kuja kutuambia these are little humans and they have rights. Yet we have the seerah, and we've seen so many hadiths. For example, when the way he treated Anas bin Malik's smaller brother when he lost his bud. Can you imagine Mtume ametoka kwenye yuko kwenda kumwangalia mtoto wa 3-4 years a pet bud imekufa, anaenda kukondole na yeye. Our parents at this point, can we do that? Can we do that? Ati ndege ya mtoto imekufa, unatoka kwako unatembea mpaka kule kumpa pole. You see, what the Prophet was doing was acknowledging a child's emotion. Right? A child can feel sad, a child can feel confused, and sometimes our children don't even know what they're feeling. And it's your job to tell or identify their feelings in a way that you put you give the names to the feelings. Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling angry? What is it that I have done that has made you feel this way? It doesn't make you less of a person. If you could walk in the footsteps of our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will be better parents.
Bila shaka.
Nadhani pia kuna kitu ambacho tunafaa kutofautisha. Kama nilivyokusikia, kuna dalili ambazo tukiona kwa mtu mzima tusirule out kwamba hii ni childhood trauma. Maanake umepeana example nzuri sana. Amesema kama kwa mfano mtoto wa kike anasema hataki kuolewa, si kwamba hii ni childhood trauma. Ni kwamba pengine ameona relationships za marafiki zake labda haziendi vizuri. Ndio maana akasema kwamba mimi sitaki kuingia kwa situation kama hii. Nafikiri hiyo pia ni kitu ambacho tunafaa kuangalia. Yani, tukiona tabia fulani kwa mtu tusiseme tu ati hii ni kitu cha utotoni. Yani
Halima.
With the humor, I think a psychologist will do a better job in differentiating them. But we cannot have an umbrella that all size fits all description with the human psychology. People, like I mentioned earlier, people react differently. And also, vile vile utapata umelea mtoto in the best way you can as a parent, but the minute they grow up enough to go to school and also to high school and university, they pick other characters that we call them environmental behaviors. Nyumbani huko wanaziona hizo tabia, but they've gone and met people who have certain characters and they have picked them. So we are not really able to, unless a psychologist sits down with that particular person and digs through their history and understands, was this childhood, was this environmental. So we have to be very keen as to how you label. But however, as a mother, you would know your child. As in this era right now, we have a lot of tools to be able to evaluate and also check on your child as well as a mother. Being present to a child is very important. As your child is growing, vile tuliambiwa na ustadha in the last meeting, is that if you can't take some time off and raise your child, the first 10 years of your child is the best foundation you can give your child. In the manner that if he is to walk into a secondary school from one and comes back with distorted behavior, you'll be able to pick it up very fast because you're present to understand and analyze his kind of character and behavior, right? So as a parent though, as a mom, mwenyewe unaweza challenge ambaye you'll be able to pick, my son has changed. He used to behave this way and now he's behaving this way. But if you have a good foundation between the first 10 years, you'll be able to have a communication, you'll be able to have a conversation with your child about the changed behavior. You'll be able to know there's a changed behavior. So as a parent, and I'm not saying only moms, I'm saying even fathers, you need to be very present in your child and even in their character. That way you're able to pick the slight changes in their behavior. Yeah.
Bila shaka. Nashukuru sana, ila naona dakika kueleza songa tayari dakika 42 zima katika habari ya saa 4. Ningependa tuwape nafasi wapendwa wasikilizaji popote pale walipo, ikiwa mtu ana swali angependa kumpongeza, haswa nikiangalia page yetu ya Facebook, wengi wanampongeza, labda tukisubiria tu simu kutoka kwa mashabiki wetu wapendwa. Kumbuka nambari zetu zile 07 74454 au 0738648881. Ningependa nisome tu baadhi ya jumbe ambazo tayari zimeandikwa katika page yetu ya Facebook. Kumbuka tunapatikana live popote pale, www.ikrfm.co.ke, vile Facebook ikrfm 95.0 ikrfm, na vile YouTube channel tunapatikana. Namuona Riziki Rajab Chumbil anasema mashallah, anapongeza sana. Ni jina lake hilo. Chumbi natumai. Vile Saumu Salim anasema mashallah. Umi Kasim anapongeza, anasema mashallah, kazi nzuri unayoifanya. Pia nawe mpendwa msikilizaji, ingia hewani kama una swali, na kuomba ingia hewani ufanye nini, umuulize Madam Halima. Na tunavyoendelea kusubiri hayo maswali, ningependa tu utueleze sasa, huyu ambaye ameathirika pakubwa na mambo ambayo aliyapitia utotoni, ashakuwa tayari, akabiliane vipi na tabia hizi? Je, kuna uwezekano unaweza pona, ama ni kitu ambacho akubali kuishi nacho milele?
No. Definitely. The beauty of the trauma is that there's healing, there's hope, yeah? There's healing, and it basically means acknowledging and realizing that you have a problem. And ukisha realize kuna problem, we're allowed to seek psychological help. We have psychiatrists, we have psychologists who can help walk through that trauma, relieve it, and you start healing it, right? So you learn, you unlearn, you relearn. So there is hope in coming out of it through help through a psychologist. And yes, I'm not sure you need a psychiatrist, but a psychologist will do you well in terms of healing your childhood trauma. Also becoming aware of the triggers, ensuring conscious parenting and overreacting as a parent. The step to healing is identifying na ukubali, this is something I probably have and I'm suffering as a parent or as an adult, not necessarily a parent. You may not have children, but as an adult you realize, okay, this is something I have. So that's the first step. And once you have that, you look at the triggers. What is it that makes me snap out of character when this happens, I snap out of character. You identify the triggers, and once you start identifying the triggers, that's when you become aware of what your environment is. You either do not put yourself in that situation, or now you handle or manage it better. Also, we know that we go back to our deen, and we have the care, and we have we can do sabr, have a good support system, have good friends that you can be able to call and have a conversation with them. But we know that this is something that can be treated, and you just need to acknowledge it. You identifying it is already a step to healing.
Namwona shabiki anaye pia kusema Ikrafem, halo. Ikrafem, halo. Wazee tunamwona ametoweka, lakini haina neno. Kumbuka unaweza pia tuma ujumbe mfupi kwa 0727444454 au 0738648881. Na wengi wanajiuliza, nimegundua kuna baadhi tu ya tabia ambazo niliona nikiwa mdogo na nimegundua naziendeleza. Kwa lugha ya Kimombo tutasema generational cycles. Sasa kwa ufupi tu labda tueleze what are the generational cycles, na tutazivunja vipi, kwa sababu nimegundua wengi wetu si childhood trauma bali ni hizo cycles ambazo mamangu alikuwa afagii saa 12 pia mimi sifagii.
Most of the generational cycles, especially as Muslims, as we're growing up, you realize ilikuwa zafichwa sana kwenye dini. Usifanye magharibi. And mtoto hafai kula sijui, at a certain time, and hafai kula hii, hafai kula hile. The best way to break generational cycles is basically educating yourself. Familiarize yourself with the seerah of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at what is accepted and what is not accepted. Because as we're growing up, we can attest, kulikuwa na vitu mingi tulifanya haramu ambazo kwa kweli hazikuwa haramu. It's just lack of knowledge and lack of exposure. Why don't we educate ourselves more? We have lots of YouTube channels. We have lots of podcasts with our ulamas and scholars and the like that educate us on various topics as we're growing up. Yeah. Another way to break the cycle, or rather to break what it is that we already know, is, like I mentioned earlier, acknowledge your story. It's not a weakness to say this hurt me, I was offended by this. It's strength to face it and what others denied. Just have a conversation. If you felt like, hey mom, mamangu alinitesa sana na mamangu yuko hai, just have a conversation with her, And the truth of the matter is, even our parents did not have a manual as they were growing up. They did not have the platforms that we currently have as they were raising us. So they did make mistakes, and trust me, they acknowledge that they made mistakes as they were raising us as well. Yeah. So have a conversation, a mature conversation with your parent. Why was this happening? It brings some sort of healing to understand her perspective or her perception of what she called discipline at that time. And then again, make dua and pour your heart to Allah. He heard you when no one else did, and He will still hear you, and He's still there for us. In as much as it may sound cliche at this point, but at the end of the day, Qibla is our final direction to look for help, right? And also, step 2 would be give your inner child compassion. Relieve that child that cooking you more ice cream. No, go have all the ice cream you want. Give that little child who felt unseen but still lives within you. Give them the platform. And also we have this gentle voice that we usually have within us. And some people call it imposter syndrome. You want to do a task, but that is that little voice that speaks like someone who's outside. Huwezi kufanya hiyo. Wewe ufanya, wewe kwa serious, huwezi fanya. So that inner voice, you need to change the narrative from that.
It's normal to have the inner voice.
It's very normal to have the inner voice. It's very normal when your nerve speaks to itself. It's just the inner voice that steps out from you and gives you or talks to you especially when you're facing something out of the norm. So that inner voice, you need to change that narrative that it gives and the voice that it uses. Most of the time it usually uses the voice of an abuser, you know. Wewe ukishika glass we basi. Wewe basi, wewe unaenda kuvunja. You know, you want to start working out, it tells you, are you sure you want to work out? Are you sure? So that voice, you need to change the narrative. It starts speaking more positive, right? And the third one is reconnect with Allah, with love and not fear. As we're growing up, it was mwogope Mwenyezi Mungu. So tumesikia kweli mwogope Mwenyezi Mungu. But no one tells us mpende Mwenyezi Mungu. You know, so look at it from a different angle. Many of us were introduced to Allah through fear of punishment, yeah. But his aspect of Ar-Rahman and Al-Latif, the gentle and the loving, was not brought forward. Start reading and understanding what exactly is Ar-Rahman and Latif and other characteristics of our Creator. All right. The healing begins when we see Allah as our safe place, right? They break the cycle consciously, pause before reacting. The way you would walk in na usukume mtoto kando because you're running to the toilet, pause, hug that baby because they're running to hug you. You have no business pushing them away. That little pat on the back and explain to them that I really need to go is different from it's okay. You understand, yeah? Parent your child with intention and not trauma response. Apologize to your kids if you're triggered. The kids will build trust, all right, and not a weakness. It doesn't show that when I'm saying I'm sorry to my child that I'm weak or I'm a parent mzazi wake squeezing. No. It just shows my child that if you're in the wrong, you need to apologize. And that's how exactly you create a character that knows how to pick when they're wrong, right? Seek help when needed. Islam does not oppose therapy or support groups. Get those. As women, get the therapy group. Not necessarily friends that you hang out with all the time, but just a support group like the one we have of Nairobi Muslim Moms. It's an amazing group. And the Prophet also encouraged shura, consultation and companionship. Healing in a community is a sunnah of the heart. We need to start healing as a community. We need to stop being harsh with each other. We need to stop being judgmental with each other. Everybody has a trauma. It might be childhood trauma. It might be environmental trauma. But we all have some sort of trauma we're challenging with. And the best thing could be as an ummah is be a support for each other. Yeah.
Hapa kuna swali kutoka kwa msikilizaji anasema Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Madina, Samira na Halima. My question is, how do you solve problems of absent fathers as a mother? Huyu ni Aisha kutoka Kanuni.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The best way to do is, I'm not sure what kind of situation it is. Are you separated from the man? Is he not there willingly? Are you the one keeping the man away? Because conflicts between spouses brings that kind of separation. So if it is you who's keeping the man away willingly from this child, you need to be active in bringing that father figure. And the best father figure is the father himself. Your conflict between you and your spouse should not be a conflict between your spouse and the child. Your spouse is your spouse, but he's a father to the child. Acknowledge that. Let them have their relationship. But if this person does not want to be there, I'm hoping you have brothers, I'm hoping you have cousins, or even the imam who's there to be able to teach this child what a father figure can do, especially if it's a male child. Of course, with a lot of how would I say it? You need to be present as well in terms of leaving a child with a stranger. But having a father figure in a child's life is very, very important. However, if the father is not there for one reason or the other, you either find a substitute who will be able to stand in terms of mentorship, right? And a mentor mtoto, especially the boy child, in growing up as a father, or as a man. And at the end of it all, we pray that Allah will be able to fill in that gap, because some circumstances definitely will deny you that. But I pray and I really, really nahimiza madada zetu, ukikosana na mume wako, please don't deny him the children. You can never be a mother and a father. You can only be a mother. And only Allah gives you that comfort of being a mother and a father, maybe because your husband has passed on. But you need to try to ensure that your children have a proper relationship with the other spouse.
Bila shaka nakushukuru Madam Halima, lakini dakika jamani hazituruhusu tayari dakika zimekatika 55 baada ya saa 4. Naomba tu ukikamilisha utueleze which one way can we avoid passing pain to our children, alafu pia to heal vipi step by step, tutajiponya vipi wengi wetu ambao tunaathirika na hii childhood trauma.
Maana amesema trauma ni kitu ambacho kinaweza hili, si kitu ambacho hatunaweza kuishi nayo, ukazoea kuishi nayo.
Kwa dakika moja, yani kwanza utueleze healthy way to respond when childhood pain resurface. Tutafanya nini ili tuzuie yani kuridhisha watoto machungu yetu, alafu huyo ambaye anaathirika pakubwa na hii childhood trauma afanye nini? Kwa dakika moja, sijui kama utaweza.
Inshallah, let me try. So if I'll speak from the aspect of a parent to the child. We need to observe more and react less. Let's have more actionable parenting more than reactionable parenting. Meaning a child's behavior is actually an unspoken emotion. You need to understand kwa nini mtoto ameanza kubehave in a certain way as a parent, and you want to break the cycle. We never had this chance as we're growing up ourselves. Okay? The second step is validate their feelings. The Prophet never dismissed emotions with the children. So when a child is sad, angry and overwhelming, do not dismiss that. Kazi yako ni kulia tu. Baba, sasa ni kitu kufanya ulie. Don't ask such questions. If that's exactly what they're feeling, no matter how small it is, let the child be at their emotions at that point and encourage them that it will get better. All right? Use gentleness as a strength. The Prophet ﷺ said, gentleness is not found in anything except what beautifies it. Your tone, ile sauti ambayo ushazoea kuwa nayo kama mama, ukiingia sauti unabadilisha. Watu nje wanakujua tofauti, lakini watu ndani wanakujua tofauti. Ile tone ambayo unaitumia kusoothe watu nje, pia also do it at home, right? Use that good tone and have good facial expressions with your child. Play with your child, all right? Then you've mentioned about healing, and I've mentioned it before. Heal your inner child. You must face our own past. Healing does not mean blaming our parents. It means understanding that they did not give, and they could not give or choose differently from our own. So they also didn't know. Like I said, wazazi hawakuwa na blueprint. We cannot blame them for it. But you can ask questions and get closure. Blend with faith and emotional support. When your child is struggling, don't rush to tell them have sabr. Mtoto haelewi sabr ni nini at that point. And just say, I know it's hard, and Allah is with you, and He's also here with me, and I'll guide you as a parent. I'll be your strength at this time. That's how you stand and connect Allah with your child at that age. Ukimwambia mtoto kuwa na sabr na tawakkul, hakuelewi. So you break it down as an intercessor between Allah and the child for a healthier way of healing. And we as mothers, as we heal, we become calmer. Right? And as you mentioned, how will you seek help? Honestly, if your trauma is really as bad, please seek psychological help. There's a lot of psychological facilities as Muslims that you can attend. Please seek it. So that's the only way to break that cycle.
Kama ulivyosema, nakumbuka katika mikutano yetu the last time we met, alisema healing does not mean becoming perfect. It means choosing mercy over bitterness, awareness over silence, and faith over fear.
Very true.
Hani,
shukran sana Madam Halima.
Kwa sababu hii ni mada pana, hatuwezi maliza leo.
Inshallah.
Nashukuru kuna support system Madam Fauzia, nitamwalika siku nyingine atueleze more about the network.
Yeye ndo alikuwa kuja jana.
Bwana, yeye. Salamu, tuseme asalamu alaykum. Haina nitamwalika
siku yake inakuja,
kwa sababu ni wanawake bomba, wana nasaha nyingi ambazo tuwafaa tuzisikie. Maasalamu, moja kwa moja utapokea muktasar kwa lugha ya Kimombo.
mwanamke wa peponi, mwanamke wa peponi ni mwenye jema tabia. Dada zangu kulikeni haya ninayowaambia, mwanamke wa peponi ni mwenye jema tabia. Dada zangu kulikeni haya ninayowaambia. Hadithi yake amini sahihi naipitia, nisome kwa maani ipate kuwaelea. Mwanamke wa peponi ni mwenye jema tabia, dini aloiridhia ya Mola wake Karima. Mwanamke wa peponi ni mwenye jema tabia. Dada zangu kulikeni haya ninayowaambia, mwanamke wa peponi ni mwenye jema tabia. Dada zangu kulikeni haya ninayowaambia. Idha salati khamusa asiwa
95.0 FM, the station with a difference, brings you news.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our news briefs. My name is Samira Galoro. Members of Parliament have embarked on a 2-day inspection of several ongoing affordable housing projects in Nairobi and its environs. The members of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning and Public Works have urged the State Department for Housing and Urban Development to begin the tour on Monday. Led by the chairperson Johanna Ngeno, the legislators urged the fast-track completion of the ongoing affordable housing and economic stimulus program market projects in Nairobi County. The legislators in their tour are meeting contractors and officials from the Ministry of Housing as part of their oversight role in President William Ruto's flagship housing projects and plan to extend their visits across the country. Former Attorney General and Democratic Party DP leader Jesse Muturi has raised concerns over President William Ruto's proposed 1.5 trillion infrastructure fund, questioning its practicality and timing amid economic strain on citizens. In a statement issued today, Muturi said while investment in infrastructure is vital for national development, the proposed fund should not come at the expense of accountability and prudent financial management. Muturi said the government should instead focus on sealing financial loopholes and improving transparency in how existing funds are used. He urged that Kenya's challenge is not a lack of money, but inefficiencies in managing available resources. President William Ruto has lifted the ban on logging to allow for the harvesting of mature trees only in forests countrywide. The president noted that there is need to utilize mature timber for commercial purposes rather than letting it rot in the forest. During a public engagement at the Molo Technical and Vocational College in Elbagon, Molo constituency in Nakuru County, President said the government will begin selling mature trees in all forests across the country to local sawmillers in the coming weeks. He, however, cautioned that the conditional lifting of the ban should not be misused as a license to engage in wanton destruction of forest. More news in an hour. It's now 4 minutes past 11. My name is Samira Galoro. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.